Hey guys, this is Fan Confessions, the podcast about two friends, two fans, and the K-Wave. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Lisa.
And welcome to the place where we share our love of all things K-pop and our personal experiences as fans.
Hello, fellow fans. Have you ever wondered to yourself, is there a girl group out there for me? One that really fulfills my needs in concept and color and music? Well, fans, we are here to help you with that. Today, this episode is all about finding the girl groups and appreciating them for all their color and diversity.
Okay, so you might be thinking that this channel is boy group biased, but that is far from the truth. We want to show our love to the women of K-pop as well. So we've dedicated a whole episode today to talk about some of the popular concepts out there, and we want to showcase some of our favorite groups for you guys to check out.
Hopefully you'll find a new group and maybe even find a new favorite. So this is sort of leading me into my first confession of the episode. So way back at the beginning of me discovering K-pop and Steph introducing me to all these different groups and different concepts, I was really reluctant to appreciate the girls. And I'm kind of like, yeah, a little bit. I'm kind of ashamed of it now because I really underappreciated just how difficult some of the concepts would be. Like, some of them today are still not my thing. But I feel now that, and I'll talk a little bit more as we're discussing the different concepts in our groups that we want to introduce you to. But I think now I appreciate just how much effort and just how much work it is for them to pull off some of their concepts. And some of their choreo may not be as like jumpy around and dynamic as some of the boys' concepts and routines and choreos, but it's just as much work, and they just have to, and they are amazing artists in their own right. So today we are going through and we're going to show some love and appreciation and grow the worship of the queens.
That's a good way to put it. There are definitely queens out there.
Definitely.
Like I was in the same camp of it. I think most K-pop fans, I guess, we're all geared towards certain genres right away, and the boy groups really dominate a lot of what's going on in K-pop, and so it's easy to just fall into that. And then of course it's marketed towards women and girls, so that's definitely playing into their favor. And yeah, I don't know.
Groups are marketed more toward male audiences, so it's like they're gonna play up different aspects that maybe not as attractive to female fans. But I think to count them out is really a disservice to the singers and the dancers and the artists out there.
Exactly. There's a lot of talented people.
Yeah, they're repping it for the women, and we should give them some love.
All right, so shortly after you, I have my confession ready to go. Because I mean, like you, like it did take me a little while to get into girl groups, but my confession is actually a positive end of that. Is I have officially become a fan of the cute girl concepts, which I used to find so hard to like in the beginning, and now I've grown to really love them and appreciate them that much more. So I am all in for the cute girl concept, and I think part of it is a lot of them are super earworms, like they really get into your head. I mean, there is a line, and it's kind of funny because I've talked about in the past how groups like ITZY I have trouble getting into because I feel like they're so youthful, yet their concepts aren't really cute per se, and they're very different, and it's a different vibe than the cute thing. Now the cute thing, I kind of get it.
It's
but
so funny because I am the opposite side of the coin.
Yeah,
where I love the stronger kind of like more girl crush concepts and little less still of the cute, but
yeah, I'll change your mind today. Yes. That's what I aim to do, is change all your minds. If you're not into cute concepts, there's a cute concept out there for you. And you will enjoy it. And you know what? It's like, I feel like there's honestly, that's what this whole episode's going to be about. There's a girl group out there for everybody, no matter what kind of music you like. And at the end of the day, that's what it was about for me, is if it's good musically and it's well produced and there's good like lyrics and melody, you know what, I can enjoy almost any concept. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, and any group. So and that's the funnest thing I think about some of the girl groups. They are more likely, I find, than the boy groups to change concepts. I don't know about you, but when I was looking into these groups, there was a couple that I'm like, man, they could fit into so many different categories, and I didn't really realize that until we were looking at it this way.
I think they're very, I agree with you. There are some groups that are really experimental, and they can go back and forth to different types of quieter, stronger, sexy, more like lovely and ethereal, or that's not even a word.
Ethereal. I know what you mean. Magical. I don't know. There's definitely a certain subgenre there that we've talked about a bit.
But, so. And they do it, and some of them do it so effortlessly, and they just like pull it off really well. So I totally get where you're coming from there. Okay, so we're going to start today off with something that Steph really, really likes, and that's the cute concept.
Of course.
So I will freely admit that I still struggle with the cute concept, mostly because it just sort of like it makes me cringe a little bit sometimes.
It doesn't have to. That's the point.
It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. And there are groups that I do appreciate who are masters at the cute concept. So the group I want to introduce you all to is April. Oh. Now,
I like this pick.
Steph approved. I know I did well. So April is a bit of an older group. They debuted in 2015, and they are with DSP Media. So some of the songs that really stuck out to me for them are April's Story and Mayday. And like, I really encourage you guys to take a listen, because they're the kind of group that sort of, they're just like make you feel happy, whether you want to or not. Yeah. So I think they are definitely a group that you guys should check out.
For sure. So my interest in April started with the song "Oh My Mistake," which is not really new, like old. It's quite new. It's one of their newer ones. And oh man, if that doesn't get stuck in your head, I don't know what will. Like that song, I've hit repeat on it. The video is also super cute for that one. So I'm excited to see April. They have like a very lovely concept about them too. I mean, all these girls, I'm probably gonna say this a million times this episode, all these girls are gorgeous too. Like they're so beautiful, and these videos just showcase them so nicely. So
there's the epic video pose where it's always like,
yes. Well, they're all the ending fairies too. I've been trying to talk to people about this. Well, I explained this to my fiance, what an ending fairy is this week, because we started watching Queendom together and he didn't understand why the camera paused on them. And girl groups are like the queens at that. I don't know if you've ever watched these stages, but man, they're so flawless. I'm like, how are they not dying after doing all that dancing, right?
You know what? The guys will go,
yes. And the girls are like,
and the girls are probably just as exhausted, but they look perfect.
Yeah.
So
flawless.
Kudos to the ending fairies.
So time for my pick. So, okay, I'm not going to butcher this name. I had to look this up before, because I don't know about you. There's certain groups I can say their name in my head and then find out later that's completely wrong.
Oh yeah,
so
totally.
I always want to say Promise 9, but it's not correct. Apparently Promise 9, yeah. So basically it's
pronounced with a P?
A P. That's what I read recently, is that Promise 9 is the closest you can get, because I guess in the Korean language, which I guess I've sort of learned this from my fiance as well, the letter F I think is not, I can't remember if that's the one that's not, it doesn't exist in the alphabet or something like that. So Yeah, so apparently, like, I could be totally wrong. Someone correct me if I'm still saying it wrong. I probably am. Anyway, but basically what their name means is they're from I-DLE school, and there's 9 members. So this was a reality show a while back. They debuted in 2018. And so that's their whole shtick. So that aside, they're super cute. So a lot of their songs are super duper catchy. So like the song I am super addicted to right now is actually one of their newest songs. So I don't know if anyone has heard Feel Good. It's not, I wouldn't say super in the cute spectrum, but it's just such a like, well, the song is a feel good song, honestly, but it was like a song I was repeating a lot in the later fall of last year. So they do a lot of like kind of electronic vibes to their music, and that's something I really love. I think Lisa will know this. If it's like electronic K-pop music, I'm super into it. So they do that really well. They're also like really catchy with their like pacing and their like lyrics and their melodies and stuff. So that's what really grasped me. In terms of the best cute concept they do, I don't know, Lisa, if you've ever seen Love Bomb. Does that sound familiar?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen that
So,
one.
right, that video, if you haven't seen Love Bomb by this group, you should watch it because it's just a super fun concept. Like they all have little sparklers on their head, so it looks like that they're gonna explode at any moment. And there's tons of really cute graphics and just the whole concept. I just really loved it. I was like, I rewatched it before we were prepping for this episode, and I was just like, dang, I feel like I've even underappreciated it as I was going to appreciate them. So I rewatched a bunch of their videos. So you should definitely check them out if you haven't. Okay, so something on the other end of the spectrum. Now we're going to talk about sexy concept. And we were saying beforehand, this is a very empowering concept. We like to think of it as a positive thing. There's definitely some groups out there that have, you know, come out and been like criticized for the fact that all they do is sexy concepts, but you know what? I have no issue with it. And so the group I want to talk about is Exid. So, which actually, now that I say that, I know I'm saying it wrong too. I read that also the other day.
EXID.
Yes, like I just did it after I just corrected myself on the last one. But yes, so EXID. So I mean, it's unfortunate that this group, they're not, no one's announced they're officially disbanded. So they were previously on Banana Culture, and they came out in 2012, and they've all since left Banana Culture and all kind of doing different things. So I don't know, I want to hope like we're seeing some different people out there, like Solji is a beautiful singer, is still active, and then Hanny I think has been getting into acting or something like that. So I feel like we're going to keep seeing these members pop up in different areas and still be successful. So I am excited to continue to talk about them. So I kind of came into them kind of late. I remember their huge peak with like Up and Down was this huge popular song. This is the one with
Still
like
is.
the hips and everything. I don't know. You can watch a million compilations. Yeah.
You will find that song. I think everybody in like the entertainment industry will do an impersonation and then cover of that song. You see all the weekly idol performances. There will be somebody that does a We Are impression.
And that, I think that dance too was like banned in a lot of ways too, because it was like overtly sexual. And the video too is like there's a lot of things about it that are very suggestive. So they're very tongue-in-cheek about how they do that with their concepts. So I mean, that is the epitome of it. But a song I've been obsessed with was Me and You when it came out, which was like a very much summer vibe, kind of like a clubbing song. But oh man, I couldn't get enough of it. And so the fact I like fell in love with them later and then now they're kind of gone, it makes me super sad. But their discography is nice and long, and they've got lots of tracks to get into. And yeah, their videos are super entertaining. So it's sexy in I guess a different way too. Now that I think about it, it's not so overt like you would see some other sexy songs where it's like about the outfits and the poses and stuff. But like I said, there's more of a humor about how they approach the sexiness that I find is really intriguing.
My pick for sexy is probably one of my favorite groups of all time, and that is Mamamoo. So I know like some of you from their earlier stuff, you might like, are you sure they're sexy? But frankly, in my personal opinion, they are like sexy in like the most subtle and sophisticated way, because they're like strong, mature woman kind of sexy, in my personal opinion. They're from RWB Entertainment, and they debuted in 2014, so they're one of the senior groups. But just everything from hip and that era is just incredible. Like, I don't know if anybody's seen Solar's pole dance in one of their Mama performances, but she like blew some minds with that. And just like the way Huasa will say "aya" in their latest track, just like that drawn out, everything about these four ladies, just like really, just like I have a little bit of a crush on all of them. So.
Yeah, like I feel like they're all like sexy in their own different way too, because then you have someone like Moonbyul, I can't even say her name properly, but like how she comes across too is she has that kind of breaking the gender norms thing, and she has a completely different appeal than someone like Hwasa or Solar or Wien. Like they all have a different vibe to them, but it's all, I don't know, it's all them being empowered and powerful women. So it's
all that confidence.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. They are a group that exudes confidence like to the T. And now that I think about it and thinking about back when they were in Queendom, like that's what all the groups were so envious of, is like their power on stage and how confident they were and how they just go out there and they wing it. And like, I don't know if you've watched a lot, like obviously Lisa's watched tons of their performances, but they ad-lib a lot and add extras or change up their performances quite often. And they're just super comfortable in themselves, and it shows, and that like that adds to their level of sexiness.
Boys and girls, get you some women that can turn you on and make you laugh all at the same time. Our next concept to highlight would be the lovely concept. So some of you are probably wondering, like, what do you mean by lovely? So when I think of lovely, I think very like feminine and flowy and like amazing like arm movements and choreography. Like gorgeous and pretty and just awesomeness. And one of my groups that I think sort of like pull off the lovely concept to a T would be Oh My Girl. So Oh My Girl they're a little bit quirky, a little bit cute, but very, very lovely. And they are from
WM
Entertainment. And I think for songs, I think Dolphin is a recent super, super fave of mine. And it's such an earworm. It's from last summer, and it just sort of like gets in your head and it doesn't want to leave.
Well, it's turned into a cult, the Dolphin cult on the internet.
Oh yeah, totally. It just like you all need to, like, if you haven't heard Dolphin yet, you will listen to it and you will know why there is a cult.
Yep. And I don't know, I can't stop watching also Subin from TXT performing it with Oh My Girl, because it's super cute, first of all. And I mean, obviously that's why this whole cult thing I think got out of hand in the first place. But yeah, I don't know, it just made me like it that little bit extra more because they did such a cute stage together. And yeah, so for me this was like a super easy pick because there's only one group I ultimately think of when I think of lovely, and that's GFRIEND or girlfriend. I don't know, I say girlfriend in my head. Again,
I
probably
always say
wrong.
girlfriend.
Always wrong, but you know, whatever floats each other's boats, it's fine. So yeah, girlfriend has always been at the top for me because like when they first came out too, they were a group I wasn't sure about in the beginning because that's like their whole thing is the very lovely. They were like kind of like that school girl vibe in the beginning, and then they slowly aged up. And the thing that impressed me most with them was like they had a transition from being that ultra lovely and that certain age group of being like so youthful to trying to mature more. And so I remember they like came out with Fingertip was their first like attempt at that. It was still kind of like cute and lovely and whatever, so it wasn't totally there. But like they definitely like now, I don't know if you've seen their latest ones, the videos are just super stunning. All the girls are beautiful. They're like super powerhouse singers. That's part of why I ended up really liking them at the end of the day. And their choreography is a different level of difficult. Like it's quite intricate in what they do, and it looks simple, but it's not. Yeah, so it's very impressive. So if I'm thinking about what the best like lovely concept was for them, it was Rough for me. Which or it wasn't rough picking it. The song's called Rough, sorry. That sounded a little funny. But the song Rough was really great. So beautiful music video, like in the snow, has a whole storyline to it as well. Dancing really amazing and vocals really amazing. So it's like the whole picture comes together. But their discography is great. I forgot to mention, so they've been around since 2015, so they're a little bit of an older group as well. So very cool to see them kind of age up over the years. And I believe now they're part of Big Hit too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, what it was Hybe now?
One of their side labels or something like that. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, so it's like Steph mentioned before, they started like very innocent, lovely, and now they're more mature, womanly, lovely. And I think seeing grow and develop that is like really fun. So if you go from the earlier stuff to their newer stuff, it's a really good journey.
Yeah, it's a great journey, and I believe they're still, you know, super active. So just eager to see what their next comeback will be. All right, so we're gonna move on to the Edgy Concept. So how do I explain Edgy? So I guess Edgy, I was thinking of, you know, there's lots of girl groups that have a lot of hip hop flavor or darker concepts, that kind of thing. So that's where I went with it. So the group that I'm going to showcase is probably, I'm going to guess it might be one of the oldest groups we'll talk about today, but I could be wrong. So I'm going to bring up FX. So I chose FX because like, so they've been around since 2009 and they were part of SM. They are no longer, I mean, I believe they've officially disbanded now. Unfortunately, you know, rest in peace for Suli there. That group has gone through a lot over the years. And I believe they kind of quietly took some time after their member passed away. And so now I think we're to assume that they're no longer going to be doing anything with SM. I mean, might be doing solo stuff. Like I know Amber is still doing things, and I don't know, who knows, maybe Crystal will be acting again. And LOONA and whoever else might be doing different activities. So I don't think that's the end for them as people in the K-pop world, but fortunately there's no more music to be had for them, but they have a nice giant discography for you to enjoy. And some of the most iconic girl group music videos that we could have in history here. So what I thought was the best edgy concept for them was Red Light. So I don't know, Lisa, if you've seen that one.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
But the makeup is very extra and over the top. The outfits are really out there. It's got kind of a dark vibe, but part of really why I chose FX is I feel like they were kind of doing the offbeat thing that no one else was doing during their time. And they were kind of setting the trends and doing new things all the time. So that's what I really appreciated them for. Again, they have, I'm sorry, I keep leaning towards this electronic kind of sound, but they do a lot of kind of dance music and electronic vibes as well.
I think my favorite song of theirs is Electric Shock.
Yes,
So
I was watching that one again the other day. Another great song. Oh, they have so many. Like, and Four Walls, I think, is one of my favorite girl group songs ever, probably.
it's a great song. You guys
Yeah.
should all listen to that one for sure.
It's definitely, actually, it would even fit in. It's one of the more timeless songs, I would say, too. Like, I would say it would, even if I was listening to it now, it kind of fits in with, they were doing the 70s vibe before everyone else was doing it, because this was years ago. And now everyone's going back into the whole 70s thing. And it actually would be very relevant right now. And the music video is just absolutely stunning. Again, they've had some really, like, they're very entertaining to watch.
My edgy pick would be a group called Dreamcatcher.
Nice.
So when they first came out, Steph was like, "Oh, Lisa, you got to check these out." And they came out with a very, like, especially at the time they debuted, they came out with something like a horror, bit of like dark kind of concept, sort of goth, but their sound. Now, this is something that still makes them unique in the K-pop world, is that a lot of their sound is a rock bass. And I think it just brings so much to their tracks, and it sort of like a depth and stuff like that that I really, really dig. One of their first songs that they came out with called Scream, and it's so good. And one of the latest songs, Odd Eye, is like right up there. I love that song so much. It's like when I come across it on my various like scrambled up playlists, it's like repeat a couple times before I can move on. So you guys should definitely check out Dreamcatcher.
For sure. I mean, well, like you just said, when they first came out, I remember being like, what is this? Like, like those videos, those first few, I think they did 2 or 3 in the beginning, that had, it's like almost like a continued storyline of like them haunting this guy in different ways. And I just thought, I'm like, oh, what an impressive way to take the lovely or cute concept of these girls that look like they're all dressed in these like lace dresses and stuff, but then give it such a twist at the same time. Like, I thought that was super impressive. So yeah, and then now they've evolved to something completely, well, not completely different, like same vibe, but not so much about that concept, but still like super strong, like you said, unique sound compared to what else we're seeing out there. So I would echo exactly what you said, 100%.
Our next concept on the list is quirky. So I may have taken quirky and interpreted it in a little different way, because the group I picked is LOONA. So LOONA is a 12-member girl group, and they debuted 2018-2019, and they're from Blockberry. So the cool thing about LOONA is that their name literally means girl of the month, and 12 members, 12 months in the year. And the way they debuted was such an interesting concept to me, was because it took 18 months for them to officially debut, because each member had their own little concept and introductory video per month for over a year. And each one represents a month, each one represents like an international city, and I think even like an animal.
Oh, yeah.
But I just thought their own concept and the storyline that they're developing with their music is just really interesting. And I think some of the songs that really stood out for me is Butterfly was released in 2019, and the video for that, it just felt really good watching that video. First
Very
off, like
satisfying.
very satisfying. Like the first step would be like, they're all wearing pants.
Yeah, right. That's true. Actually, I didn't think about
wearing
that.
the skirts.
Yeah.
that was my first thing. And the next thing is that in that video they featured like different faces, like different women from different parts of the world, different colors, different ethnicities. And it was just sort of like this great message in that song.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention that high note
Yeah,
in the
totally.
chorus.
I know.
That's like Mariah Carey.
Try and sing along to that one, people.
No, these vocal cords are going to get some nodes if they try that. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I really adore that song by them too. And then also, like, to your point, when they were like releasing them, I remember all these tracks coming out, and man, those were some really good solo tracks to kick off. And I remember reading as people were like, what am I going to do when they start like going as a group, because I'm addicted to all of them as solo artists. So it's really cool to see that they have that capability to just like piece off and like have all these subunits and do different projects. So I mean, myself, I've had a mixed bag with, like, sometimes I super love what they do, and then sometimes I'm just really not into it. But I don't know, they're just one of those groups again that they seem to try different things and change it up a lot. So
they have a little bit, they bring a little bit of everything, and they're willing to experiment, which I think is really cool.
My pick for quirky, well, I mean, we already talked about this group, but I can't not talk about them for quirky. So it's Oh My Girl. Because they have to be the quirkiest girl group I know. Maybe outside of, okay, another one would be Orange Caramel, but they haven't been active for a very long time. But if you haven't experienced Orange Caramel, experience Orange Caramel. They're super quirky too. But back to Oh My Girl. So like we said, they're from WM, and I mean they have similar groups. Like, I don't know, WM is an interesting, like, I should have known I would like them sooner, because On and Off's from WM and B1A4, and I love both of those groups. Lisa can attest to me. Yeah. And they're also very quirky and offbeat in the best way possible. So same thing with Oh My Girl. So if you like those two boy groups, I think you should check out Oh My Girl. Yeah. So same with you, obsessed with Dolphin recently. But the video and song I wanted to call out was one of their earlier ones, and that was Liar Liar. So again, kind of a unique sound in terms of the song as well, but the video is super fun in the way that it's like cute, and they almost like look like dolls in a house, and they're all fighting over the same guy and about the guy lying to them. And it almost has a tinge of the horror aspect to it, because you feel like they're almost going to hurt each other quite a few times in the video. Like, it's got the perfect, they have this balance of being cute, yes, yet disarming and surprising. Like, all their videos have a twist to them, I find. But in the best way possible. The other one I think of is Windy Day, is a different song too, where it's so like calm and perfect, and then the chorus sounds exactly like you would expect, and then the whole video they're just kind of being blown away in the wind. And it's funny because it's like they're so cute and perfect, and then they show themselves being so unperfect sometimes at this, and it's sometimes in the same instance, like that video. So that's why I really love it, and love them. And another contrast they have that makes them quirky is that they have a lot of really lovely singers in there, and then they have Mimi, this rapper that also just comes out of nowhere and is super hard. And you're like, what?
I know, she like, it's just happened? Like, is she in the right group?
Yeah, I love her personality though. She's super fun. A lot of them are really cute and have like this duality to them. Like Yua, I think, as well. She can be like,
oh my god, Yua,
dancer sometimes. So they're a super fun group to get into and get to know. They were also on Queendom, and like, I think impressed. If anyone wasn't convinced that they were a talented group, once you watch Queendom, you're like, wow, like this group has a lot to offer. And so just stand them. That's all I got.
Shout out to Oh My Girl, because Queendom is exactly how I got, they like really got my attention. And shout out to Queendom for highlighting all these great girl groups, and
totally
sort of like we need a season 2 for sure.
Definitely season 2 rematch. You can bring back some of the same groups, bring some new ones in. I just want to see it all.
Give it to me.
Now we're gonna talk about Girl Crush. So I feel like this is, yeah, I feel like it's a popular concept, or I would say more so in the later years now, more and more. It's like, because I feel like earlier in K-pop there was a lot of this lovely and cute concepts and maybe the quirky, but the girl crush is kind of, I feel like, a newer thing and it's gotten super popular. But the group I picked is actually an older group, and it's APINK. And I don't think Lisa should be surprised about this because I really love APINK a lot. So they've been around since 2011. They're part of Play M, so that's where Victon is. So not a major company like some of the other ones, but they've been around for a really long time and have a lot of staying power. They are one of the groups that helped transition me over, and not because of the girl crush concept per se, but their vocals in that group and like just how perfect their songs sound all the time. It's kind of hard not to like them, even if it's more of a cutesy concept, because their songs are just, I don't know, they're very simple and enjoyable just as they are. And then they don't go too kind of crazy with the cute or anything else. It's not over the top. It's like just the perfect level of everything that you need. And then I guess partly why I picked them too is it has one of my ultimate girl crushes in it, and that's Unji. So I really love her a lot. Her voice is absolutely beautiful. She has a really popular solo career, and then she's also an actress, and I've fell in love with her in dramas as well. She's a beautiful actress. So I really fell in the group that way. So when I guess I realized they were my girl crush for sure was when I'm So Sick came out, and their transition from being like just this pretty and beautiful, lovely kind of concept to this like flip of like, wow, we are women now. and it's like super sassy and oh, I like everything about that comeback. I was so excited about, and the song was super good. And they've had a couple since that they're just keep hitting that same note in just the right fashion. And then another girl in that group, Nayeon, really caught me. She has like this part where she whispers in it, and I'm like, if that isn't the definition of a girl crush moment, I don't know what is. Like, do you love me? Yes, I love you. I'm a woman and I love you too. like that whole concept just, yeah, it slayed me then.
So my girl crush, and how I picked my girl crush is not only do I just like adore them head to toe, but they sort of like the common interpretation in K-pop for girl crush is like a stronger concept too. So my group is GIDLE.
I was waiting for it. I was like, when's Lisa gonna talk about GIDLE?
Because when Lisa starts talking about GIDLE, she doesn't stop for a while. So like one of the main reasons that I love them so much is they came screaming out of the debut gate with the song La Ta Ta. And it just blew everybody's minds because I think they won the fastest #1 on a music show of like any debut group. Like,
oh wow.
They got it within like a week of debut. They got like a #1 for La Ta Ta.
Crazy.
And it was, correct me if I'm wrong, that my stats are a little made up in my head right now.
It's okay.
But I know it was very quick and it was very impressive. So from then they had a few other releases and they were doing not as well as the original, but then came along Queendom, and we just spoke about Queendom earlier and how an amazing show it was, an amazing platform it was. But on that show, they near the end, when they were doing so well, they released a song called Lion. And oh my god, I just like fell off my chair. I was so impressed.
It was epic.
Lion. Yeah, not only like you guys need to watch the Queendom performances because like the whole storyline they developed for that is just amazing. And like then the music video that they released after the show was like just epic for me, and it just like I love that song so much. And part of the reason why they're such a girl crush for me is not only are they amazing singers, like they have some amazing unique voices in Yuki and Minnie, but they are also very much self-produced. A lot of their leader Soyeon does a lot of the producing, and she wrote and produced Lion herself. Well, of course, I think she had a couple co-producers too, because you can't build a masterpiece like that with just like one person. But it was just, they're just really impressive and talented in so many different ways for me. So I couldn't help but pick them as my girl crush.
I feel like to me they are the new FX actually, in the way that they are kind of breaking the mold of what we think girl groups should do. And like, I think of, is the song called Oh My God? Like that song to me in the video kind of broke a boundary of like what is taboo maybe in a K-pop video and what's different. Like I remember watching that and being like, okay, this is very different than what I'm used to seeing. I'm totally fine with it. But I'm like, interesting. I was curious to see how the public in Korea might accept something like that. But
because I think it went over a lot of people's heads with Oh My God, but just it had a very bit of the storyline of the song had a bit of a lesbian bent too, just with the lyrics, like she took me to the sky.
Yeah.
And some people picked up on it, and some people sort of just like it went under the wire for them. And I don't know how like big of a deal, and I don't think they would have played it up too heavily in Korea, that kind of concept. But a lot of people picked it up on that song and appreciated it a great deal because it was like something very different and not something a bit out there for like any K-pop group. Never mind just a girl group.
Totally. So I am all for any group that is gonna, change it up and show us something different and make us talk about it like we're doing now.
We're gonna round things out with some honorable mentions. Now, these are groups that both me and Steph thought we had to let you guys know about, but may not have fit into a concept idea perfectly. So my honorable mention is a newer group, and it's Everglow. So Everglow just debuted in 2019. So they are a new group, and they're just finding their legs and their audience. But there's a couple songs that just like burn their brain way into my brain. And just something about that Everglow forever, let's go. Just kind of like dug its way in there, and I just love it. You do that on
purpose. I feel like clearly because it gets in there.
Yeah, so definitely La-Di-Da is an amazing song.
Yeah, I love it too.
The video, I remember the video just being so impressed by it because it was like, it was just, I just loved it so much. And Dun Dun is another one. It's very like powerful and very like more hard hitting, and just it's totally my vibe.
Yeah, well, I remember when they broke onto the scene too, like just immediately they had this super catchy song that came out, and the dance that was super like the whole crown, like the thing that they did on their heads. I don't know, they're very good at capturing the audience at the right time with something catchy, whether it's the dance or the lyrics or how they approach the song. Like when you talked about La-Di-Da, I love the whole visual of that music video too, like the whole art concept behind it and the work that was probably done there by artists and video producers and all those lovely people on the teams that work so hard, which like that's part of what I love about K-pop too, is like we appreciate the artists a lot, but there are so many people behind the scenes that work so hard on these videos, and they're so impressive sometimes.
Yeah, the production value is like epic.
Out of this world, right? And so that one, it was just like straight out of like, it felt very noir, right? I guess that was the whole vibe of it.
What was it? Sin City. It reminded a very Sin City vibe. It was so cool.
I'll round this out with my honorable mention. So I wanted to talk about GWSN. So they're a girl group that's been around since 2018. The agency they're part of. It's not really a well-known thing. It's a QE media group, so there's not really anyone else in there. They're just like kind of their own little side pocket of genius, whatever this is. But they have kind of like this magical fantasy vibe about what they are doing. And so the videos all kind of have, there's like a little bit of a theme that's going through, and I haven't read, like I need to do some more research on them, honestly. I just know I've really loved their sound and have listened to their albums, but I feel like there must be some sort of story there, because you can kind of see between their videos that there's a bit of a link going on. But I really am addicted to actually a B-side, and it's called Night Aviation. And oh, it's just like I can't stop listening to it. It's like this perfect evening, a chill sound, but like still kind of upbeat and a little bit dancey. But I don't know. I'm super addicted to it, and I have played it over and over and over and over again. So I always know that's a good sign. The reason why I like them so much too, and they get stuck in my head, is they kind of have like April we were talking about earlier with Oh My Mistake, and how they kind of play with the melody and lyrically. I feel like GWSN does that as well. So that's part of what like kind of got me hooked onto them more in the beginning. They also have very like unique visuals going on. They have a member that kind of reminds me of Amber. Like she's got the short hair and she's very stunning. So I don't know, stuff like that. I love when it like they have kind of more unique features about them. And then the last thing I'll say is they kind of, if you like WJSN is another group that kind of has that fantasy magical vibe. It felt very similar to me, and I actually thought in the beginning I thought they were related because their names are, and if I'm like totally missing out something and didn't connect that they are connected somehow, I didn't think I found that, but they have very similar names and a similar kind of vibe to them. So if you like WJSN, check out GWSN.
So that's all for today. We hope you enjoyed the episode and maybe got introduced to a few new girl groups that you're gonna just adore for the rest of your life. Please like, subscribe, and maybe leave a comment of somebody that we may have missed, somebody that we need to appreciate a little more. Stay safe. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.